Okay, and because we ran out of time yesterday, is there any question that you might have from yesterday that you want to address, Kerstin?
So, have you ever had that someone wants a follow-up? Like, say they have done a constellation with you and something has come up and they can't cope or they don't cope and they would ring you, or has that
Because
ever
of the
happened?
constellation, or they just want another constellation? What?
No, after the constellation they've done with you, for example, and then something has maybe come up and they just are in a kerfuffle, in an emotional upheaval, you know?
No, I have not actually had that. What
Oh,
what is
okay.
what is more likely is, or what happens more is that um, there is this relief that they feel, especially when it's the first constellation, and then they can't wait to do the next one because they want to continue to work. And then you know, we should give them a bit of time between the constellations. So we don't want another day, like they don't shall not come back the next day and have another constellation or something like that. But somebody who is really in upheaval, and I can't think of anybody. No,
Okay.
no, no. Normally the relief should be during the constellation, the emotional relief, not. I do remember, but it's not an upheaval. I do remember participants of the workshop said to me, that was a full day workshop, said to me she couldn't sleep all night, and she had the weirdest dreams, and she was throwing up in the morning or through the night, and then she had a really, really, really extreme day with this, and I know she reported that to me. She didn't want another constellation, and that was just the result of her, not even her own constellation, but her resonating with the field and her representation of others that she was so connected with, that something came up and really needed to come out in form of this vomit and stuff. So that is always a good thing, and even if it's unpleasant, people know that that is a good thing. They feel that it is a good thing. So that just because the next days are not pleasant doesn't mean that it's clearly the working of the field, and your own emotional. So, but if I think about it, if somebody would come and said I'm in such a bad state after the consultation, which I cannot even fathom why that would be, but if that would be the case, such a bad state after constellation, yeah, I would probably work with them. No, why not? Yeah.
So do another one, do another constellation.
Yeah, if that comes up, yeah, I would probably do that.
Okay.
Coiny?
Hi, Maya. Um, so if you have a client and they come back, or he or she comes back with the same issue repeatedly, so how would you handle that?
That is a good question. That happens, of course, a lot. There are two reasons why this is. First is this issue is repetitive because it's quite embedded in the mind, a certain outcome. And as I said, we're not working with the mind, right? We are working with the soul movement. So when you do a constellation and you're going with the soul movement, you're working with the orders of love of Bert Hellinger, a shift in the family system is taking place. You can't even avoid that. It's not in your hands. Yeah? However, that doesn't mean that the client who goes home is not going back to the old state of mind. Yeah? And then the client is in the old state of mind for a few weeks or months or whatnot, and then think, oh, I need to do another constellation. And then another constellation with the same issue, and another shift is happening in the family constellation. Yeah? And then the client goes home and then goes back into the pattern of the mind. Yeah? Do you understand? And then time goes by, and then this is constantly in the head, and then the client says, oh, I need another constellation with this issue, you know? But every single time this constellation is taking place, something will shift in the family system. That doesn't mean that the client feels a shift all the time. Yeah? Especially not when they're very attached to their mind activities. They won't feel, they won't be able to listen to the subtle whispers of the soul. Yeah. But the healing takes place in the family system. Yeah. So guided by the family system, this client comes back and back and back with the same issue, not knowing or not being aware that the family system makes them to come back and back and back because there are other issues to be solved in the family system of the client. Yeah? You understand this kind of strategy of the family system?
Yeah, so based on your experience, so you reckon that even though they come back with the same issue repeatedly, because that the client feels that it is not entirely be resolved, but based on your experience, you can recognize that some form of healing has taken place.
Yes, definitely. It is unavoidably. It is, if you work with the method of Bert Hellinger, it's unavoidably. Yeah, but the healing is not taking place necessarily recognizable to the client.
So would you review that to the client when they comes back again and say, oh my, you see, this is not working, and then and blah blah blah. So would you?
No, I wouldn't say, because if they think it's not working, they wouldn't come back. There must be a reason why they come back. Why they're not looking for other methods. You know, there must be a reason for that. So we are not interfering with this. If a client comes to you, he's at the right place at the right time. I never say no to a client. I totally trust the field. Yeah. And if the client comes back, although always with the same issue, I'm not getting impatient. I'm saying, but have you not solved it by now? Because I know there is the family system is sending this client all over, because there's a lot to do. And if this issue would be resolved that the client has in the back of his or her head for the whole time, and that would be all of a sudden like a magic pill go away, then they would never come back. And the family system, you know, has no other descendant who are willing to do the work, maybe. So there's always a bigger picture behind the behavior of an individual when we work with family constellations. And we always look at the bigger picture, right?
Okay, so does that mean that if it's the same client with the same issue, but you probably would do the constellation each time differently? Maybe this time
it will be always differently. It will be, because I'm not thinking of what was the last one. I totally forget, of course. You don't remember these things. And then you would go with the information of the field, what comes up with the field. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so I do remember an extreme case of a client, comes for years, always with the same. But in the wake of all these years, so many changes has happened in her life. You wouldn't believe it. She's a completely different person, but she still has the same issue. Yeah. In her mind, she still has the same issue.
Yeah, she thinks she has. Okay.
Yeah. But she has the same issue, but everything else has drastically changed. So you just go with it, and as long as they come, they are happy, because otherwise they would just not come. They would not bother to pay for a workshop or whatnot, a session, if they wouldn't be happy in one way or the other. Believe me, a client who is not happy with what they get is the client you never hear about again. That's the normal case. They are not complaining, they are not writing you rude letters, they are just not returning. And that's fine. That's totally fine. We don't need to know that. And then there are the clients who got everything out of one session. They never return because they are immediately shifting after that and are happy for the rest of their life. So you never know. So don't be curious about it, or don't try to analyze it, right? We have to give them over back to their own family system after the family constellation is finished, and trust that everything was happening in the right time and in the right place. Okay. Kerstin?
So how come that when you talked about this experience with this lady before, that everything has shifted or everything has changed around her, but she still comes back with the same issue?
Yeah.
How come? Like
Well, why? Because it's not solved, because she's still looking for a partner.
Okay.
That's all. And that drives her to family constellation. And everything else is marvelous in her life. Which is fine, and she totally recognizes this, but she has not the right partner yet. And this is why I say you can't use this as a magic pill method. This is not the case, and no healing is like this. Yeah. It has its own agenda, if you will. You have a destiny. Your client has a destiny. There is an agenda. And if you're in your mind, you can't let go of this idea you need a partner. For example, in this case. And this idea is stuck and it will stuck probably till the end of her life, and she might never has a partner. And the family constellation is not changing that. We are not having a wand and getting a prince somehow magically. That's just not how it works, right? But there is no suffering behind it anymore. The wish is still there, but the suffering is gone. The emotions are gone. This is the shift that is enabled with family constellation. Yeah. And of course, all the healing that takes place for the family system in the wake of all the work. Right? So that's all very precious and very wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes if you know your client very, very good, you can together laugh about that. Yeah. Say, ha ha ha. We do another we do another wishing for a guy constellation next time. Let's see what happens. So that's all good. So don't worry about that. That's all good. We are in a good place when we are following the orders of helping, or the art of helping. We are in a good space. Yeah. We don't need to worry about our clients. Okay. Right. Any other before we continue? Other questions? Are we good? Okay. Very good. So today we are talking about how to structure a workshop. What are we looking at? We are looking at family constellation circles with friends and family, and what I explain you what that is. We will design a workshop. We will look at how to marketing how to market a workshop. Of course, how to deal with queries. We will look specifically at what is specific about family constellation workshops, and then we look at it in-person workshops and online workshops. We'll also briefly dwell on that. So question to you, who is of you has already facilitated any kind of workshops, not family constellation, just any kind of workshops? Karen, what kind of workshops do you facilitate?
I'm not on mute, am I? Can you
No,
hear me?
you're not muted, no?
All right. Well, I'm not facilitating now, but I've facilitated Maori Wānanga workshops on culture, and I've facilitated sort of different various healing workshops before, and then educational ones too.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. How large were your groups? Roughly.
Anything from, say, 5 to, well, I mean, in the classroom, you've got a classroom full of kids. for
I
example.
don't forget about the kids for now. Yeah, just adult.
Okay.
Adult
So
work.
probably from 5 to maybe 18.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, maybe 15.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
good. Mhm.
Yeah.
Very good. So there will be some here that you know already, of course, right? But for most of you, that would be probably new, right? If I get that right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, what are family constellation circles with friend and family? That is, again, that is originated by the Hellinger Scientia School by Bert and Sophie Hellinger. It is called in German Hellinger Freundeskreis. And I have translated it freely to family constellation circles with friends and family. The literal translation would be Hellinger Friendship Circle. And that is something that is all over Europe and in South America, where he has worked the most, meaning that when you are a dedicated, what can I say? You don't even need to be a trainee. When you're a dedicated follower of the family constellation method of Bert Hellinger, when you are, and you go to all the workshops with him and so on, then you want to make it known in your area, right? So you would set up this friendship circle. So everybody who is also interested in it can come to regular meetings. However, I have taken it a little bit out of context and away from Hellinger, and what I'm suggesting here to you is, as a trainee, to start after the training is finished or towards the end of the training, to get a group together that you call Family Constellation Circle with your friends and family to get some to get the to have the possibility to train yourself in leading the group, working with others, explaining family constellation, and getting to know yourself and how you deal with this in a nice and gentle and friendly and unstressful situation where you can really grow into. And it is super important that you follow that, because it has been proven to be absolutely essential. For what? To set you up for success later. Yeah. So how does that work? I have done that myself as well. I did that in Zurich. I had already my bachelor degree in family constellation after 4 years, and then I started family constellation circles, or Hellinger Freundeskreis, in Zurich after that, and I did that for over a year. I think it was close to 1.5 years before I organized my first workshop. And that was, I know how essential that was for me to be able to have my first workshop professionally delivered, because you can learn as much as you will from me and from books, but the practice makes a big difference, right? Okay, so what is it and how does it work? So it is meant to spread the love, because you need community support, of course. Nobody will come to your workshop if they don't know what family constellations is, if they don't know you, if they have absolutely no idea of Bert Hellinger's Orders of Love. You will sit there on your own, right? Obviously. So what are you creating is you're creating some followership that love this, that you introduce them to family constellation and they start to love it. And that's what I meant with spread the love. Yeah, make family constellation known in your area. Get a small group of enthusiasts together. Start with some close friends. It just need to be 2. To be a group, 3 is okay. So you and 2 is a group, right? So you don't need to look for 15 people. 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, fantastic. Yeah? Invite them to regular meetings. I think that's very important, like the first Monday a month, or the last Friday a month, or the last Sunday a month, or whatever suits you. Yeah, it's really important you stick to the schedule. Yeah, and people can work within this. So okay, I'm providing that. Everybody can come, and they know it's happening, regardless how many people are there, who's coming. It's something they can look forward to, and they can plan also their month around. I would extremely suggest to find a place where you feel very safe and very comfortable. Yeah. So don't go to somebody else's house where you feel you are the guest, because it's really difficult to come into your power there. Yeah, because you still feel there somebody else is the host and you are the guest. Yeah, so either choose a room in your house or go to a neutral spot like a community center. And I say community center because they normally have available times in the evenings that are for free. So you don't need to spend money on that because you don't get money from the people. It is a free event. So you don't want to spend money and then feel like, oh, now I have to make money because I'm spending money. Yeah. Of course, if you can afford it, and that's not a problem. But it is really good if you keep your costs very, very low at the beginning, so you can enjoy that freely, right? So it is very essential, Bert Hellinger said that over and over again, it has to be free of charge because there is nothing you are offering right now. Yeah, you are not offering anything. This is for you to practice, basically. Yeah, and when it's free of charge, you are not under pressure to provide anything. You know, it could be completely social. You know, nobody is expecting from you to deliver anything. And that's the important thing. This takes all the stress away and you can freely experiment with your own capabilities. You can make so-called mistakes, as many as you want. Yeah. And you can do something completely different as well. Yeah. So that's really important that this is clearly a free of charge event. Make it social. Ask them to bring a potluck or drinks to share. Everybody loves that. Most people come for the social aspect, remember. Yeah. And that is very important, especially when a group is kind of growing together. And as I said, it is not about facilitating family constellations in this event. It's about spreading the love and getting a group of enthusiasts together and get them interested. Yeah. However you do that. Yeah. Make it fun and social. It most likely it's an evening. It's probably 1.5 hours. Something really easy to achieve after work, where people can come and after dinner and have an interesting and fun time together in a nice group. Yeah. So when you get this group together, it is really lovely if you can introduce them to some aspects of the orders of love. Just something you read about in a book of Bert Hellinger, or from the videos that you're watching, or from the teaching content. Just something that you find interesting, and then you share that with them without making it a teaching. It is just something you talk about. You know, you can talk about the interrupted movement towards the mother and how often that is the case, and how deep that impacts children and the whole family system. And you can talk about how this is rippling through the generations and is a repeated pattern. Whatever you're interested, whatever comes to your mind. The good thing here, or what I want to say, is you prepare that in advance. So it's not ad hoc. So you think an hour before you go to this circle. You think about what you want to talk about. You make some notes. Make sure it's not longer than 10 minutes. So you're not standing there for 1.5 hours talking, because it should be social and fun and practical as well. Yeah. Or instead of, if you don't feel like you want to prepare a talk, you can watch together a video. You can bring a device, a pad or whatnot, your laptop, and watch a YouTube video together, and then talk about it, right? You can also, and you should probably also offer to facilitate one family constellation per meeting, but as a demonstration, no? Don't do a full constellation. This also takes this. It's very important that you deliberately not come to what you perceive an end to the constellation, because this makes you comfortable with the situation to break up a constellation. And you need to learn that. You need to be comfortable with breaking up constellation from time restraints, or because there's not much more happening, or you just got stuck, or there are so many reasons why you want to break up a constellation, and you need to be comfortable with it. Yeah, and this is the best practice to make it actually a goal to break up a family constellation, and don't let it come to an end. And remember, it's a free event. You are not offering a complete family constellation. These are reserved for the workshops, and they are not free. Yeah, nobody gets a free constellation. Yeah, that's important, because there is no balance here. Yeah, and the trainees are not ready to do that anyhow. Yeah, and then remember, you only get the people who are at the right time in the right space, so they are not ready to receive a full one as well. Yeah, so that's, see the whole system behind it. So this is why it is super important and really, really practical experience for you to break up the constellation. And I would suggest you say, okay, and it's also training you to keep your constellation short. Yeah. So I would say, if you want to do a demonstration, which I highly recommend, so you can start to put your facilitation tests skills to test, then you put your timer on your phone on, and let's give it 20 minutes max, and then the timer goes on. And then you say, without any further ado, we leave it here, regardless where you are. Yeah? Just use this word, we leave it here. And then you say thank you to the representatives, and then you sit down again. And then you have your closing of the evening, or however you do that. Yeah? And by practicing that, when you have every month a circle, and you have that for you have 12 times set, broken up a constellation and said, we leave it here. In the workshop, it will be super easy for you to do that as well. So you're not feeling bad about it. You're not looking for words. You're not looking undecided or insecure, which is very important, because you are losing the group when you do that. Yeah. Of course, you can invite, when they want to have a constellation, they can always come to the virtual workshops and get a constellation, and then come back to the friendship circle and be even more convinced that they are a friend or family constellation, yeah, in your area, which is super good. So I repeat, so you really, really, really get that into. The goal is to practice how to set up a workshop situation and to lead a group. That's the goal of this circle for you, including practicing your facilitation skills and deepening your connection to the morphogenetic field. Yeah? That's the goal, nothing else. Well, there's a couple of more, because you want to create a little group of enthusiasts that are then coming to your workshops once you're offering them, right? So there's a little bit more to it, but that needs to grow. And that needs to grow, and this is why they should run for a year, at least a year, before you actually offering a full-fledged workshop that is, that they pay for. And then when you have done that, then you can design a family constellation workshop in your area. You aim for 4 to 6 participants. Just don't make it too big, yeah, so you're not losing oversight. And make it a half-day workshop, not a full day. Make it a 3-hour, 4-hour workshop. So you can hold the energy high during that time. You get used to the participants, and you feel more in control of everything. Yeah. And you can always remember, we haven't talked about that yet. I think we do that in module 5. You don't need persons to represent. You can also add in objects. So you can do a perfectly good workshop with 4 participants and have 10 representatives, right? So there are methods to do that, which I will tell you in module 5 how we do that. So you don't need the numbers in your workshop to be able to facilitate a family constellation that is beyond 3 or 4 representatives. Yeah, that's not needed. So again, keep the cost and the fee low, also for the workshops, because you have something to offer, but you need also to grow into facilitating full workshops, and so it's always good to start slow. And remember, this is not a method like just providing workshops and family constellation. Not many people can live from that, right? This is always an add-on to what you already do. So you're not aiming for becoming rich with family constellation facilitating. You do that because you love to do it and you love to provide it to others. And of course, over time, you definitely have a little bit of income from it, but it is not where you can live from. So don't aim for that. It will be only frustrating. That's not going to happen. Yeah. Well, maybe in Kuala Lumpur, Courtney, I don't know that, but not in New Zealand. I know that for sure.
No, not here. I think the concept of family constellation is very, very new
Yeah.
in Malaysia.
Yeah.
So it will be difficult to get even the first client. So I communicated with one of your trainee. Is it Keisha?
Keisha, yeah.
Yeah, she's from Malaysia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we exchanged text a bit.
Wonderful.
So yeah, she told me she has one section, 1 or 2, but that one, because I think she offered tarot reading.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, for quite some time. So I think she offered to one of her regular clients. Yeah, actually, not many people heard about family constellation.
You make
That's
it
why
known,
I ended up with
Courtney.
you.
Yeah. You will be the forefront to do that. How exciting! There was the same in New Zealand. Believe me, there was absolutely nobody when I came here 11 years ago. And now, actually,
you have a center.
Hmm?
I'm sure you make a living from family constellation.
So yeah, I'm getting there, but it's really, 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 really hard work to do this. So
yeah, and I joined the course because I need the healing myself. I want to understand healing modalities more, and I hope I can be a facilitator someday, not now.
Yeah, that's perfect, because that's exactly, we all are the same. We all start because we want healing. Everybody comes to this, not because it's a new business model. Everybody comes to this to go through deep healing, for themselves. And then when the glass is full and overflowing, you need to share. You need to start to share, And that's when you're naturally growing into this idea of being a facilitator. Okay, in this first workshop that you then create, when you design these workshops, you need to outline the difference to the circle meetings and to the workshops. So your circle, your friends and family who comes to the circle, they know here's a circle and there's the workshops, and they want both, right? Not one or the other. This is why you cannot have them for free having a full-fledged constellation in your circles. Then they never come to the workshop. You understand? You need to be a bit clever as well. You cannot offer that on one hand for somebody to pay, on the other hand for free. That's not working. So this is why I say time it and break it up. Yeah. It's just a demonstration. You say we are doing a demonstration. We're not in a circle. You're not saying we are doing a family constellation. Yeah. We're doing a demonstration who wants to look at something, and then that is, and don't let it come to the end. Important. That's the main difference. And of course, the workshop is not fun and social, right? The workshop is more work, like the word implies, workshop. So there's where everybody is to work. So when you're designing your workshop, definitely prepare a poster or flyer with the details of the workshop. A word of mouth is fantastic, but at one point they all need to have the basics. When, where, what, how much, yeah? What to wear. For example, skirts are not good in a workshop, in a physical workshop, yeah? Because they need to lie down, and then they're worried when, you know, that the skirt is not all the way up. And so I always say, you know, pants or leggings is preferable to any skirt. That's just one example of others. Also talk about yourself, because everybody comes to you because of you. Not only because of family constellation, because of you. Because it's all word of mouth. It comes from friends and families, and it's all about you. So talk about yourself. That's important. Have a picture from yourself, but be honest. Don't try to make you look more experienced than you are, you know. It gains you a lot of trust when you are really super honest. Yeah. Even if you say, this is my first workshop, that's fine. It's just be honest. Just whatever you want to write in there. And of course, also put in there what you know you're good at. Yeah. If you, for example, if you're mature, then you say, I have a lifelong of experience with whatever. If you have grown up children, you know, these are all achievements. If you have a career, that's an achievement you want to put in there, but not a full-fledged CV, of course. That's not necessary, and that would be an overkill anyhow. So word of mouth is absolutely essential to get your first workshop together. Yeah, you can put as many Facebook events on or posters hang everywhere. Nobody's coming when they're not hear from somebody else. Do you want to go there? I want to go there. You know, that's how it starts. So word of mouth is important to get. This is why you need your friends and family from the circle to do exactly that. They should talk about it to others. Yeah. And then this is the way. And then they might bring somebody. And then all of a sudden you have 6 or maybe 8 people there. Because 4 of your friends and families bring each one person. So, perfect. Of course, use social media. There's nothing wrong with it. But social media are, you know, if you're not a celebrity, you know that. If you're not a celebrity, that's not doing a big job. Just because you put an event up doesn't mean that anybody is interested in it, right? Online marketing, that's something I started to use, and then I didn't do that anymore. I think it costs too much and it spreads too far. Family constellation is so specific. You know, you don't know how. There is no target market really, you know. And then it's kind of a waste of money. Well, in my experience, it is. Posters are much better because you want it local. Choose an event place people like, that you know people like, because it has a lovely garden or it has a nice cafe next to it or something that they are not only coming for you, not only coming for family constellation, but also for the event place. That's always good. Yeah, that's always a plus. Draws in the people. Flyers is just smaller posters you can hand out to people if you know them, or give your friends and family from the circle, give them a bunch of flyers so they can spread it. Yeah. And then direct marketing. I have never done it, but if you find a way to do that, that's great. I still think family constellation is not known enough that you can put in every post box like your flyer and think that people would be coming out of there. Probably not. So you need a much more specific target market to advertise to. And that's the best, is word of mouth. Okay, so now we have the workshop organized and everything is set up, and now you have inquiries coming in. Yeah. So if there shouldn't be much inquiries coming in if your flyer or your poster is, or your email or the Facebook event that you put up has all the details, then will be probably not. But maybe there are coming some queries, so be patient. People are not reading things. Not even my trainees are often reading everything I write. So be patient. When they ask you the questions, they are all answered on the poster that they have. Just, give a brief answer and make sure they get it. Payments is an important part now because this is the first payment event, paying event. Bert Hellinger, or more Sophie Hellinger, I'm actually not quite sure about Bert, but Sophie Hellinger definitely, she was very adamant about it. Payments for family constellations have to be done before. Yeah, that is very important because there can all sorts of things happen in the family. People not coming to the event. They find excuses in the morning. They might have a mild accident and think now they can't come anymore. This is all already the field is working. Yeah. So practically your work as a facilitator is already done. Yeah. If you will. This is important. So payments need to be done up front, not at the door. It is also very, very unpleasant to handle cash payments. You want to be in the zone, you want to greet them, you want to stay connected with the field, and then because you don't have a PA to do that for you, then you have to deal with cash and giving change or thing. It's really distracting, yeah. And then they probably don't have enough money, and then they haven't paid, and then what are you doing now? Do you send them away, or do they stay, or it's really a pain. So make it a thing. The payments have to be done online before they come, 24 hours or something like that. When you have uneasy customers, normally, so when I say uneasy customers, these are the customers who are no-shows or canceling last minute. That's what I mean. Not the ones who come to the workshop and then are, have a problem. This is not happening very often. The uneasy customers are the ones who are booking, who are paying, and then change their minds. Or something happens and they think, oh, now I go to this other event, and then they want their money back or anything. Again, Sophie Hellinger was very, very strict about it. That's not possible. You have to set up your workshop. You have to know how many people are coming. You have your costs. You might, without these customers coming, you might never have put up the workshop because it wouldn't be. Maybe that was the one person who made it all count, for you. So they have to understand that there is no other workshop where you can just no show and get your money back, or cancel within 24 hours and you get your money back. For some reason, people from coming to family constellation, they expect that. I have no idea why. Yeah, this is really bizarre. But as I said, it is really important that you have your rules and stick to them. When you say, okay, let's say they cancel more than 24 hours in advance, they get 50% back, or they get all their money back. I don't care, yeah. Or when they cancel within 24 hours, they get 50% back, and when they no-show, they get no refund. Whatever rule you make, stick to it, yeah. And don't let you be bargained with. That takes a lot of strength away from the work, from yourself. And as I said, you don't have a PA to deal with that, and it can take all the joy out if you put too much energy in uneasy customers who just change their minds. Yeah. That's what I wanted to say about cancellations. And now we have a lovely exercise, and I'm so glad Janet came, because we have groups of 2. Now we have 2 groups. Wonderful. So let me just quickly ask, everybody knows Canva? Yes, you know Karen? Who doesn't know Canva? Kerstin not, and Courtney you don't. And Janet, you know Canva. Oh, no. Anyhow, so Canva is an online tool. You can access that for designing posters, because the exercise is create a family constellation, friends and family event. Yeah. So when I say you create an event with your partner, you discuss what do you want to provide, when, how long, where, and then you design a little flyer or poster that is extending an invitation to people you know, to spread the word that these events are happening now regularly in your area. And this little poster you can design online right now here in your breakout room on Canva. Yeah? So you just Google canva.com, and then you can online design a poster, and then you can share that with us. Yeah? So I think, Connie, you are quite techy, aren't you?
I'm not too sure. I'll try.
So then I would say, because Karen knows how to do it, then Karen and Kirsten, you go together. Yeah? And then Connie and Janet, you two, I'm sure you can figure that out, how to design something. So let's just look at what
Canva.
exactly you do. You work in groups of 2. You design an invitation. First of all, you talk about, how you want to set up this circle, not the workshop. It's a circle, the free event. And then you write down also some keywords for an opening speech. How would you introduce? Sorry, I didn't say workshop. That's the wrong word. Your friendship circle to the participants. Yeah. So you don't write down the sentences. You just keywords, what you would want to say, and how you would want to introduce yourself, for example. And then we will have all your wonderful work, and we will hear it from you then after the exercise. And you have for this 15 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes together, and then I'm sure you can whip something up in this time. Okay? So I repeat, what I would like you to do is, with your buddy, think about how your friendship, and come to a mutual, if you have different ideas, find a mutual ground. So just think, which is also a good idea, when you, for example, coincidentally live in the same area, that you actually do the friendship circles together. That would be even better, right? Of course, I know none of you are living in the same areas, but if you would, then you would have a buddy, and you would have to come to an agreement how you're going to design your evenings. So that's what I want you to do. Find mutual ground, design an evening that we call a family constellation, friends and family circle. Then you write a poster. You design a little poster or flyer on Canva, 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 yeah, that you would then hand out in your area to create your first event, the circle. And then you write down some keywords, how you would introduce yourself and what you're going to do in your first meeting. Just keywords. Don't write the whole sentences down. And then you will have the speech in front of us. Yeah? The introduction. So not both of you. One of you is doing the speech, and the other of you is doing more the design. Yeah? Clear? Okay. I have 1 thumb up. That's good. Can I get more? 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Okay. So and off you go. I send you reminder 5 after 10 minutes, and then 1 more when you have a minute left.
Now's
Laughing.
Connie.
We are laughing only for joy.
Kirsty is going to laugh at me.
What?
Yeah, here it is.
Ah, Oh, look at that. That looks so inviting.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
me
is
too.
it? So we purposely
Oh.
choose these photographs that is going to offer you a very relaxing experience. So you
Totally.
get ready for a healing experience. You are all invited to come for the Family Constellation Circle, hosted by Janet and me.
Sure.
Same date next year.
Oh, fantastic. Yes.
Okay. And you're welcome to bring a dish for sharing. We are going to make this a potluck event.
That's wonderful. Look, that is wonderful. It has all the basic information, and it does have very, very inviting photos on it. Now you
Credit
under
goes to Canvas.
yeah.
I pick it
So
from
now
there.
yeah. Oh, now you're under pressure to provide a venue like this next year.
It will be a community hall. We have put it there.
Yeah, exactly.
The photograph and the photo is just to entice you.
That's wonderful. Right. And who of you is Janet talking about how to introduce the circle? Or who's doing that? Or did you not think about that?
We have
No.
we did discuss about that. We spent all the time on the poster.
Okay, all right. Well, it is definitely worth it. So let's look at it a little bit closer. So first of all, colors are important when you do posters, and blue is always a good color choice. No, blue is always inviting. It's kind of neutral. I would stay away from red, right? Reds. You can go for some orange or yellow tones, of course, but red is normally not good. You can also choose green tones, right? Or some purpley tones. That would be all good. Or something simple as black and white would also be suffice. When you choose your fonts, you may don't want, if you have a fancy font like the Family Constellation Circle Friends and Family, you probably don't want to have a shadow on it. It's probably a little bit too much of thingies. And then, of course, pictures are great. So as I said, great pictures. They can also be people. People are always good. You know, it's very attracting to have actually real people on there. It could be you, Janet and Connie, like a portrait of you. That would be kind of ideal.
Yeah.
So
should make it more engaging.
yeah, it's more engaging if there are people and they look in the camera, right? They look in so people are looking. They feel they are seen, if you will. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be another good thing as a photo, and maybe you want to put at least one sentence about family constellation on there, if you want to. If you are in this poster, you assume that people know what it is. But you might want to put. It says healing experience, which is awesome. I like that. The word healing is very, I don't know, it's also in different countries and different jurisdictions, it's different. So if you use the word healing, I would always add soul healing, because healing is kind of reserved for the medical professions, if you will. It's ridiculous because they don't heal anybody. But this is kind of how the world runs at the moment. So use it as a soul healing experience. So they don't think that you're actually doing physical, like massaging or something physical work, right?
That makes a lot of sense. Soul healing. I mean, that speaks that this word itself contains so much information. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And then, so if you have soul healing experience on there, you might even don't need to explain, but you can make one more sentence. I just make something up. Discover the soul healing modality of Bert Hellinger's discover the famous soul healing modality of Bert Hellinger's orders
Methodology.
methodology with the new family constellation or something. Just one sentence.
Based on order of love.
Yeah, that you include orders of love or Bert Hellinger's name, or that makes it look more beefy, if you will, more meaty. Yeah. Great, well done. So very, very awesome. So Janet, just for the fun of it, would you like to introduce your circle ad hoc to us? So we four are just arrived at this wonderful venue at the community hall and sitting here really excited. And you go.
Oh, welcome to welcome ladies to our family constellation event today. That what's her name? I'm sorry. I have to zoom in. Coney and I, Janet, will be hosting for today, and we will be. Let me go to my notes. Okay, I think this is practice. Okay. You said a good thing to talk about when explaining a family constellation is either talking about interrupting like the movement towards the mother and the father.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If they were to. Okay, so welcome to the event, and today we will be doing a small family constellation workshop with you guys, and
no workshop, demonstration.
No demonstration.
Yeah.
Demonstration today. We will be talking about family constellation demonstration, and a little bit about it is we're gonna talk about the interrupting movement of the mother and the father. Wonderful. And my brother will explain to you more.
Well done. That's exactly how you do it.
I'm over here sweating.
That's good. Get the sweat out.
Do
Very good. That's exactly how you do it. Nothing more. That's it. Right? Nothing more than that. Hmm?
I just like to say I absolutely love it. I really think that is really cool. I'm going to be there next year, okay? So I hope someone else is too.
Yeah.
So, Christine, I'm going to make it in Malaysia, so you come. Fly all the way.
No, but I just wanted to point out that with the word healing, we have to be really careful because you can't even put anything like that on a herbal tea or anything like it. I'm just wanting to make that aware, you know.
As I said, use the word soul healing modality and you'll be fine. Yeah?
Okay.
Very good. So next group, shall we stop sharing that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Now, Karen and Kirsten, your turn.
I'm sorry, I'm just coming back to see how I
You go on share screen and then you choose the frame of your computer that you want to share.
Oh, I can just go on the frame of my computer.
Yeah.
That makes it even easier. Let me have a. Oh no, you don't want to see my Spotify. Sorry.
There's just one. They give you a choice of everyone that's open.
Okay, let's see. But it hasn't given me that one.
Is it open? Is it your Google?
It was just yep.
Your web browser. Yeah, you just share your web browser.
Okay, let's try again.
So you go to it will say you go to share.
Screen.
It comes up Google Chrome or whatever you use.
There we go.
Ah,
okay, so this is what we've
yay! Very good. Nice. Now you can also go to full screen. On the bottom there, see where my mouse is here. You go to full screen here. On the right corner. Right bottom corner.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Okay.
Nice. Look at that. Wonderful. Okay, you go.
So it's all very rushed and unedited text. So we've got family constellations, friends and circles. I actually can't read this one down here. That's our details. I will get back to that with our details in a moment. I'll
well, you can read it out to us. That's fine.
Yeah, and so we have family constellations as seen on Netflix and other stuff. And then, of course, we have, just from what you were saying, discovering the soul healing modality of Bert Hellinger.
Yeah.
Now we have in this text box, there's a bit too much information. It's a bramble on family constellations, and I'll go to that screen and find it to you soon. And I'll go to this one and tell you what we said about where, when, and how.
Yep.
Yeah,
maybe if you just, can you make it larger?
I don't.
Maybe not.
No, I think I need to escape this screen, and I'll just go to my one and read it off there.
Well, I really like the picture. That's amazing. Did you find that on Canva?
No, I found it on the webs, just on the on a website, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we have is.
Yeah, here we go. Very good.
Oh, can you see that now? Oh, good.
Yep.
Okay. So so join us on the last Thursday every month, 7 to 9 p.m. at the community hall, local town. Gather with friends and together learn about family constellations. Kirsten and Karen are learning about family constellations and would like to share this with you.
Ooh, very nice.
And then we have family constellations may help resolve concerns such as issues with relationship, work and family members, depression and anxiety, loss and grief, issues of abuse and post-traumatic stress disorder. Family constellation seeks to unveil and heal past generational trauma which may cause a descendant's current suffering. Through epigenetic inheritance, emotions and traumas are shared from one generation to another, often being undetected for a long time until one of the descendants' desire for more freedom and happiness is great enough to look for help.
Very good, copied and paste.
Yeah, all copied and pasted, all stolen.
Very good.
At this stage, all borrowed.
Very good. Of course, this is how you start. So that is great, awesome. So interesting how different the two designs are, isn't it?
Right? I think it depends on which poster we grabbed at the time.
No, well, I think it just also shows our different backgrounds, you know, like where Koini and Janet maybe live, yeah, and what their surroundings are, and we are more in the green and browns with our bush and
in the bush area,
and maybe a few floods.
So very well done. So what I would like to point out here is that probably what the first draft we saw, or the suggestion from Koini and Janet had too little, is probably here too much information about family constellation. I think people, if they get a teaser and they kind of are interested, they will look it up anyhow nowadays. On the internet, what it is. So yes, some information. I think that's amazing. I love that you are referencing another self. That's wonderful. That's very good thinking. I think this is how you draw a lot of attention to it. So this is practically enough, right? So your first a brownish header thingy is enough, and then I would probably take the whole text underneath away and just make the event when, where, and who larger, and write something more, just write about you and Kerstin, yeah? And not about the method, because it is easy to look up, but it's not easy to find anything about you and Kerstin. All right? So very well done. This is very inviting colors. This is a very good choice, very harmonious, very nice on the eyes. And the picture it does say a lot, talks to you about the method. So so you don't actually need to, if you have the word intergenerational trauma somewhere, That's completely enough, right? Without explaining it too much, because this is also making people curious. And of course, the most important things are when, where, and who, and that needs to be in large letters, so that is not overlooked. Fantastic! That's really, really good. So, from when I saw you and you were convinced you can't get anything together to this in total of 20 minutes, I think that's brilliant.
All the kudos go to Karen.
No,
okay, Kirsten.
You helped, Kirsten.
Now it's your time to shine, and you're gonna talk. You're gonna greet us to your circle.
Honestly, I have no idea what I would say at the moment. I really don't.
Yes, you do.
Pardon?
Yes, you do.
I'm at the moment it comes like I am here because of my mom and my dad. I wonder sometimes where my good sides and my maybe not so good sides come from. So I've looked into different modalities, and I came across family constellation, and I feel like I'm going back to my roots, and this is very important.
Sounds great. It's a fantastic. So this is again a very, very, very good introduction from a completely different angle. It's totally personal, and that's what you can do as well. It can be totally personal. A lot of people are very attracted to that personal experience, and that's perfect. Yeah. So you just go with the flow. You either prepare it or you do it spontaneously. It will be the right thing. Very good. Very good. Very good. Well done, everyone. Any questions, or you want to stop sharing maybe, and then we see if there are any questions.
I think for me it's always because I have designed my own flyer for my other business ones. I just know it's important. You need to have the basics there, but not too much, because it can be overread and people are getting lost. We have so much information everywhere. It needs to be as short and as sharp as possible. That's my personal opinion and my experience. Like when I did a menu card, and when I started out, I had 3 different products, and that's all I had. I could have made 10, but I had 3. That's it. Because people read through them and they could remember. That was one thing. And from there, you take it. So I've always learned short and sharp.
That's a good one, short and sharp. Nice. Good. Okay, so yep, time for our break. It is 35 minutes here, so I see a quarter to the hour. Yeah? It's really well done to finishing the exercise. It's super important that you are able to get out of your comfort zone, do something on the spot, something spontaneous. Just take on the challenge and experience that you can always, nothing is going to be thrown at you that you cannot master in a certain way. Yeah, it doesn't need to be perfect. Nothing is perfect, and nothing has a beginning and an end neither. It is an endless adventure of learning and doing and learning and doing. Yeah. And this is what you need to know. And this is why I have this next quote for you. It is called The Beginning, and it's from Bert Hellinger. You don't have to be complete at the beginning. You just place yourself on the path, and you will be led along by the field. Like an acorn grows into a giant oak tree without knowing all the details how to do it, it just starts at the bottom and takes it from there. Yeah? So the foundation or the fundamental knowledge that you gain in this course is all you need. Yeah. And then you started from there with small steps that would be, you know, the friendship circle, and these are all the little steps that makes you grow, and especially makes you rooting down further. So once you are firmly rooted, grounded, you can grow tall. If it is missing, if these roots are missing, you know, you grow a weak stem, and there will be a storm, and it will just fall over. So be aware, we are all on the same path with taking one step after the other, and just follow the lead that your field is showing you. You know, whatever opportunities open up for you, go for them. Don't dismiss them. You have created them for yourself. They are there for you to be tackled. Right? So be assured about that. So now we're talking about the actual workshop. So as you know by now, we talked about that a lot, and you have been, I'm not sure about you, Courtney and Janet, but I know Karen and Kirsten have, right? You have been to family constellation workshops, physical workshops, right? Have you, Courtney?
Yeah, once, a few weeks back.
Okay, and Janet, you have been to a physical, yeah, you have. So were they all set up in the round, in the circle? In yours as well, Courtney?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's what you normally would want to have. So you set up a circle, and the seats are the seats in the circle. They are kind of giving you the boundary of the field where you are working in. However, if you have a small group of participants, it is really difficult to space them out like 10 meters apart and then talk to them. So you maybe want to create a half round with the seats, yeah? So it doesn't need to be a full enclosed circle when you not have enough participants to do that. And still provide a large enough area in the middle to work with. You have your participants, and then you have 2 extra chairs. One is for yourself, and the other one is a hot seat. And you set them up in the room where the highest energy is. You want to be where the highest energy is. Now, how do you know where the highest energy is? There are lots of methods. Some have this Route. What's this in English, Kerstin? The thingy that goes up and down, and other have a pendulum, or, you know, lots of methods. I'm very simple with it. I don't use any of these esoteric things. I'm just standing in a room and going to the sides if I'm unsure, and I feel where the strongest energy is, where you feel stronger. That's that easy, right? So where you are not strong is if you have a window or a door in your back. That's weak, because that is where the energy goes out. Yeah? Feng Shui wise. So you want to set it up somewhere where the energy is flowing, not trapped and not released. Which is normally, if you have a room or a square room, it's one wall that has, normally you always have one wall that has no window, that has no door, and is facing the door. That is the best wall normally, to sit there, yeah, in the center of this wall. Avoid corners as well. Corners are trapping energy, so you want to sit at a straight wall, not in the corner of a room, yeah? Okay? Then, as you know, the hot chair is on your right side, and it's empty. And then I like to incorporate, invite nature's elements as a support and increase the energy in the room, following Feng Shui rules as well. That would elements from wood, fire, water, earth, and metal. And this is normally very easy. Often you have a wooden floor or wooden door frames, or wood is normally there anyhow. yeah, or wooden chairs or wooden desk. So wood is there. Fire is easy. You can have a candle. You can light a candle. You can have a candle somewhere that you to bring in the fire element. Then you have water. Water is because you have drinking water there. Your participants bring drinking water. You have a glass of water for yourself, so water will be there as well. Then we have the earth element, which is, rocks or stones or crystals or salt. You can have a salt lump there. Then you have the fire and the earth element in there already. Or you just put a pebble there or something. If there's nothing in the room that is made out of earthy material, then you would have a pebble or a nice stone or something like this. And then metal. Maybe there are metal chairs or there's a metal light fitting, or just look around if there's metal, and if there's no metal, bring a little figurine made from metal or something that brings in the elements. And then they don't be in the center. They don't need a shrine. They are just there. They're just somewhere where you want to place them if you bring some in. Or metal watch. If you wear a metal watch, that's already enough. Or metal glasses. Or, it doesn't need to be, it's not the volume or the amount of elements. It's just that the element is represented to bring harmony and balance to the room. So that these are Feng Shui rules. So of course that's not a must, but I like to follow them as much as I can, without being too dogmatic about it. Of course, more important is even that the room is super tidy. So when you go in a community room, you will often find that there are chairs stacked in the corner and mats and whatnot stuff often. Yeah, they don't have a compartment where you can put it away. It's probably somewhere in the corner or alongside a whole wall or something. This is why you check the room before you set up a workshop, and then you bring something. If you can't get it out, as is the best option, get it out in another room. And if that's not possible, then you bring something to cover it. Like bed sheets or something, just something to cover it so it's nice and tidy and neat. As far as the surface is, of course, you are, what you get is what you get. If it's a wooden floor or a laminated floor or something, you just make sure it's really tidy and mopped. However, if you have a room with carpet is best, as long as it's not too dirty. But if it's because people lie down on the ground, and if you don't have a carpet, it is good that you bring a blanket, a really thick blanket, or like a throw, or a what is this called, a kilt or something like that. A kilt, how is it called?
Quilt.
Quilt, exactly. So you bring something like this, and then you can put it down when you want people to lie down, representing somebody who's dead or so. You can also ask your participants, either you prepare the room or you ask your participants to bring a blanket and a pillow to put it on the chair. Also the blankets you sometimes need in the constellation. Sometimes people lying on the floor, they need to be covered, or you need to bury them. That's very good to have at least one blanket available that is extra, that is not used by somebody. The pillows are good if you have a so if somebody wants to hug, like we do in a virtual workshop, and they don't want other people, then they hug the pillow. Or it's also great in winter to put it under the feet, because you don't want them to wear shoes. Shoes are really dangerous, because people, they kneel, they lie down, and we don't want the room dirty, first of all, and you don't want any hard material in there. So shoes are outside, and then when it's a cold winter, then the floor is cold, and when they sit in their chair, they can have their feet on the pillow. That makes a big difference. So that's one thing. Pillow is very useful. I was just thinking of talking about keeping the floor clean. Not only that there are no shoes, there should also, under no circumstances, people should bring glasses in there or cups. Yeah, they can have their water bottle, which is non-breakable, but that's it. Because the chairs are going to be moved, people are stumbling over, and you do not want breaking glass in there. That's far too dangerous. Yeah. So have an eye on that, and if you see people coming from the kitchenette bringing their cup or their glass into the room, you would ask them to put it away before you start. Then have extra items handy to use for the constellation. These are the extra items we talk about in Module 5 that can be representatives. So extra items, this is also where the pillows come in handy. The best extra items are pillows. Yeah, because the pillows are soft. They are normally different. They have different colors, different shapes, and they can be, placed in the room with ease. But having said that, I also remember when I started, I had a small workshop with, I don't know, 5 or 6 people. And there was no such thing as, there was really nothing in this room that I could use. Then I used actually the shoes they have at the door. They left at the door. I took the shoes and put them as representatives. And they worked as well. So items you find everywhere. You just have to look for it and be creative. But pillows, I think, in this setting is probably the best item that is also available, ready available. And then of course you need to provide as a host of this workshop the essentials, which are tissues and water to refill. Like the water will be probably provided by the venue, but tissues normally not. So make sure you have enough tissues there because they are always coming to use. And now I would like to talk to you about how to structure the workshop. We are structuring it 3 parts. It's the magic 3. We have it everywhere here. It's easy to remember. 3 parts. We have an opening. In this opening, you invite the participants to introduce themselves. That's just optional. You could introduce yourself. You could introduce family constellation in the method of Bert Hellinger. You could also do a little game with them to warm up. You can use essential oils. You can do a guided meditation, whatever you like as an opening. The purpose of the opening is to bring the group together in a respectful way so they all can stay in their bubble, remember? The bubble is important, but you can bring as a group together. That they are most people will be a little bit nervous, and some will be very nervous when they come because the field is already working and they are very under stress. What to expect and if it would be painful and all of this. So something to relax them. Something not too fun. When I say games, I'm more thinking about like drawing a card. Like we were talking about the tarot deck or something. If you are into that, so use something that you are used to work with. Let's just make an example. If you are used to draw tarot cards, bring your deck of tarot cards and let everybody draw a card. That's the game. And then they have a card, and of course that's already giving a lot away about what's to come for this individual. And then you can talk a little bit about it, what this card means. And that will ignite a curiosity and shed some nervousness and also brings the group together. So that is something. You can do the same with essential oils. And if you don't want to do any of those things, then you can just do a guided meditation with them in the way that you have on my website, the gift or something similar, something like that. Then there's the main part, which is the constellations, of course, right? So you start, this is either in the opening or it's part of the constellations. I would put it under part of the constellations as you explain the rules. Yeah, and very well prepared if you have printed out the rules and put them behind you or at the door when they go out or when they come in. So you can point to the rules and you don't need to discuss with everybody. Say, remember the rules, yeah? Don't do this or do that. So, it's secondly, then, of course, after the rules have been set, ask the participants who wants to constellate, let them raise their hands, and then you aim in a workshop for one constellation for each participant. But that doesn't mean that it has to be like this. It's just a goal. Yeah. Why is that? Is that it makes you be aware of the time, and that you're not getting too lengthy in your constellations. Because when you're a beginner, you will. It's just what it is. Yeah. You will just end up with a 2-hour constellation, which is very stressful for everybody involved. Yeah. And not very satisfying for you as a beginning facilitator. It's much more satisfying if you have shorter constellations. So train that. So you set yourself the goal. If you have 6 participants and you have 4 hours, then basically, and you have a break, then what is this? Then everybody has half an hour or something. So that would be roughly your goal, that you have half an hour or shorter constellations. Yeah. And if it's not working out, it's not working out. Don't stress about it. But it's good to have goals, and then you might divert from them. That's all possible. I think it's really important to stick to the announced break times in workshops in general, not in family in general, especially if it's a whole day workshop. It's not so much a half-day workshop, but it's a whole day workshop. You know how people are hungry at lunchtime, and if you are, let's say you say lunchtime is at 12:30 and you're in the middle of a constellation, and 12:30 is passing, and there is no end to be seen, and it turns 1 o'clock and still no end to the constellation, people are really getting nervous. They want to eat. Yeah, they are prepared to eat their lunch, and then it's hard to get them really focused and collected. So make sure when you plan the constellations that you are not starting a constellation 10 minutes before the break. Yeah, just do the break a bit earlier. That's better than late. Or do something to fill in the gap of 10 minutes or 15 minutes by Q&A. So you can say, okay, now we spend 15 minutes till the lunch break with Q&As. That's always good. Or you do another guided meditation or an exercise with them where you can control the time, or just something where you can, or another game, something where you can control the time. Yeah. And then you have after the main part, you have the closing, of course. And the closing is the purpose to bring everything together, rounding up, integrating the healing, and explain where to go from here. That's what you do in the closing. It's another kind of 15 minutes that you need at the end. And by bringing everything together, it's like, sometimes if you have a really lovely group, you want to play a song, everybody gets up for a group hug or something like that. That would be a nice bringing together. A rounding up would say some more Q&As if that is appropriate in this time. Integrating the healing means that you say, don't talk about it too much, just let it happen. Let the soul movements taking place in your family system, and don't distract it too much with thinking about it or talking about it for the first time. I don't know. It's hard to say a time frame. However, I always say to them, if you have the urge to talk to a very, very trusted person, like your partner or your bestie or something, who is really, has your best interest at heart and is open to what you do and not controversial to what you do with family constellation, then you can share when you really feel this urge. It's better to share than holding it back and feeling really bad about it, right? So nobody's under stress here. But it's not a topic for a dinner conversation, your family constellation. That's what I would say is the participants, yeah? Okay. And where to go from here, that's also where you're saying closing. So either in your case, you would invite them to your family, friends and family circles, of course. That would be where they should go from here, if they haven't been already, of course, participating in those events. Yeah, and that's about it. That would be the closing. I would keep it short because you really want the main time for family constellations in a workshop, because that's why everybody is there for. And now we talk about the rules that you are announcing at the beginning of the main part, or that you are writing down, hanging up, and then explaining while you talk in the order of importance. So the most important thing is the facilitator is the only one talking. Yeah, nobody's over talking the facilitator or taking over the lead or questioning what the facilitator is saying or anything like this, like group leading. That's important. Secondly, the representatives ask for permission to talk. We talked about that a lot. That's really important. Yeah, that you make that sure from the very beginning that that's how it works. Then thirdly, they should focus on saying one word to express the sensation, emotion, or feeling they get. So, because they really are not trained and they really try to explain all these things that are going on when they're representing, but you're not interested in that. You are interested in one emotion, otherwise you can't work, or one feeling, or one sensation, or one movement that they feel, and that's what you need to guide them to express. So it's good to make a rule so they think about it before they open their mouth to nail it down to one word. Yeah. Explain in your rules. Number 4, all movements have to be in slow motion, right? It's really important that you don't forget it. So they know that when they have the urge to rush, they are not connected to the field. No chit-chat on the chairs or in the room. That's also very important. Yeah. So even if 2 people are there and not part of the constellation, they cannot start to discuss it on the chair. That is very rude, very destructive. And remember, the people on the chair sitting, they are part of the constellation by observing. And they could be at any time, called in as well. So that is not like, it's not casual, just because they are sitting on the chair. Also not leaving the room during a constellation. That is very disruptive. They can, if they have an urgent need to go to the toilet, they can go between 2 constellations if they can't wait for the break, but not within a constellation. The same is for eating and drinking. Yeah, that should be completely banned outside of the official breaks. They have their water bottle and that's it. Yeah. And no lying down. That might surprise you. No lying down on the floor when not representing. In a full day workshop, this does happen. That people getting uncomfortable on this very uncomfortable chairs. It's been a long day and they want to relax, and they feel even relaxed because they had a constellation, and all this stress and pressure and anticipation of what's to come is falling off them, and they feel this relief, and they just feel so good about themselves that they really want to relax, and then they slip from the chair, and then they have a cushion and they have a blanket, and all of a sudden you see them snuggling up on the floor. And why is this not good? Because they are not focused and collected when they do that. They are more in the state of, where are my chips and my beer, and they are observing the constellation like a movie or a TV show. Yeah. And therefore they are not part of the field anymore. And that's not only unhelpful, it's also destructive. So it's important that they sit up and go on the chair, back on the chair. And you have to, you will tell them that, but if you have it in the rules and you hang it up somewhere and they read it, then they will, you might don't have to call them back because they wouldn't do it. So that's the hope. So these are the main rules I can think of that they should obey to make it also easy for you to lead the group, of course. Right? This is all helping you to lead the group. CAI. So after the workshop, that's in the closing, invite them to your circles. That's very important. Offer a special gift for comebacks. That's always good. Or referrals. Yeah, that's always good. Offer them a discount when they come back. Offer them a discount if they bring a second person, or a little gift or whatever you can give. Yeah. It's also nice to create a WhatsApp or a Facebook group so you can stay in touch with them. Just with some little chit-chats, and remind them of new events, remind them of the friendship circles, maybe remind them of a new workshop you are putting up, and it's more a personal contact with everyone. And if they have a question, it is not so, it's not so, how can I say, it's not so, it's not, if it's in a group, they would really consider how they put it, If they send you emails, it could be, oops, someone's leaving. Janet. Janet need to go? So that's an idea. That's what you could do or not do. Important is after the workshop, when after the workshop, everybody starts to leave, you put the chairs together, you are tidying up, you are wrapping up, you're putting your stuff in your bag. Then that is normally the moment when participants, or one or more, come to you and want to discuss their personal issues, right? This is an absolutely no-no. The workshop is over. Yeah, nothing to discuss. A, they shouldn't talk about it. B, you are not working anymore. It's like the physician comes out of the surgeon theater and on the way and wants to go home, and on the way back, then a patient grabs him and wants the consultation, right? So that's not how it works. So make sure that you have body language and everything in place, and your rules to say, no, we don't talk about the constellations after the workshop. Let it all sink in. And if in 2 weeks, if you still have a question, send me an email. And it's very unlikely that you hear from them in 2 weeks. It is also nice, give a little routine to do at home. That's probably more, actually not after the workshop, probably more in the closing if you want to do that. So they can integrate the group experience, the whole workshop experience. But that's only if you like routines. This is your workshop. You are facilitating the workshop. It has to have your individual stamp on it, yeah? So if you're not somebody who likes routine, you obviously don't do that. But if you really love routines and you like to go up every morning at 6 and do your yoga and the meditation, and you know how much it helps you, then you could give them a little routine to do that at home. They might want to follow that path as well. You can also offer them our meditation, the gift that they can download, as you know, when they sign up for the newsletter, so they can continue connecting with their family system, staying in the field, and be more ready and more open for a new workshop that you are then providing. Ask them for feedback. That's always good, because you need to collect reviews, right? Don't forget that. You will be, they'll be so happy about the workshop, and everybody's happy, and then they all leave, and then you think, oh my gosh, I have no review. And it's hard to get that, when they're all gone. I'm not saying they should sit there and write it, but I'm saying that ask them for feedback before they leave. So at least 1 or 2, if you're lucky, is sending you an email with the review that you can use on your promo material. Now we are talking about online workshops. It is really, I was, arguing with myself, shall I go through it or not? This is definitely nothing that you want to start with. It is really not that easy. And you need to be very experienced and confident to actually do that online. However, I talk you through so you know how to do it. When you feel ready to do it, that would be a bit of a guidance and may be helpful. So first of all, as I said, you need to be very confident and experienced to lead an online workshop on your own. Why is that? it's much more difficult to hold the space, the energetic space, when participants are not present in the flesh. It's just so much more difficult, yeah. So not to lose them, and you need to be really, really good in your CAI capabilities to keep the energy high and everybody engaged, yeah. More freaky is if a participant like Janet does just now, just vanishes, and you don't have the background and the experience, and you are so worried what has happened, no? Is this person now going and jumping off the roof or what? You know, because you don't know, and you can't ask them. You can't ask any question. If that is happening in a workshop situation, somebody gets up and leaves, you can go after him. You can say, what's the matter? You can see, how, you know, if are they under stress, or are they just need to go to the toilet, or are they really, really under stress? And if you think they are really, really under stress, you can talk to them, you can calm them down, you can call, if it's really severe, you can call somebody to help, yeah? So all this is possible in a workshop. Nothing of this is possible in an online workshop. So you need to be really, really sure that when somebody just vanishes, that you can still continue to provide the workshop for everybody else, and you got the nerves to do that and the experience to do that, yeah. Remote participants get tired easily. That is, you know, you're looking at the screen for 3 hours, and if you are not representing, if you are not constellating, then you can get very, very tired, and then they are not so easy to connect to the field. And if you are struggling anyhow to keep, you know, the connection with the field going, then this is an additional task to master, right? So if you want to provide online workshops, then I just talk you through the technique you need to do that. You need, of course, a very functional computer, like with lots of RAM and capacities. You need a very, very good camera. This is all about being clearly seen, of course, and heard. You have only your voice and your facial expression. That's all you have, right? There's nothing else. You need a very good mic, obviously, otherwise you're not clearly seen, and you need headphones, because otherwise you don't hear the participants clearly. You need very good lights. You can't have glasses that are reflecting, so you need to have new glasses with better glasses who are anti-reflective, so that, you know, people can see your eyes. You need a backdrop. You have to decide if you want to go green screen, or if you have you know, if you tidy up behind you so there is no clutter and no personal stuff. That's your decision. I personally don't like green scenes because the hair is cut off, the hands is cut off. It's always like a ghost on the other side. And when you are facilitating, you can do that when you're participating, but when you are the facilitator, you want to be, you know, you want to appear as strong as possible. And I think this blurry stuff with Greenstein, that's taking away a lot of strength, yeah, that you have. So choose a backdrop that is nicely, and also make it look professional. So just, I see some people who I maybe follow, and they have a big channel, and they still have like a very rough curtain behind them where they can barely hide the clutter behind. I mean, you know, this is so obvious. So try to avoid it. You really want to look very assertive and professional when you offer online workshops. Of course, the most important thing is that the internet connection is stable. Yeah, that's not so easy. Maybe in Guadalupe it's easier than in rural Marlborough, but you can't be, you know, more sure. I mean, technical problems can happen. That's not what I meant. But in general, your internet connection needs to be stable, fast speed, a lot of data allowance, because Zoom takes a lot of data. Yeah. Eliminate potential distractions, of course. Sure. So a room that is quiet is the best. But however you can do that, definitely don't have kids running around that say "mama, mama, mama" or something like that. No, that would not be good. Use professional noise reduction software if you are in a noisy environment. Yeah. let's say you have a lot of traffic in front of your window that you can hear that through the mic. Then you need a noise reduction software. And light is really the second important after the internet connection is that the light is really good. Where we normally have this this round lights, this how is it called? There's a term for that. Selfie lights or something, I think they call it. Not quite sure. Yeah. Photographers use it more professional, more bigger, but they are small. I can show you one here. Hang on. If I can bring it into the let this light here into the camera. No, it's not coming into the camera. All right, can't show you that. But you find it. It's quite cheap even nowadays. You find it at Kmart and everywhere. I talked about backdrop versus screen, so that's all I can say to that. Then, once you have your setup and you had your first workshop, keep it the same. I don't know what you think about it, that you always see me with the same backdrop, but most people tell me that they like it and they expect it. And if it would change, it would be confusing. So once you have decided on the backdrop, keep it the same. It makes a big difference. And then, other than that, when you lead the workshop, you're basically following the structure of an in-person workshop as much as possible online as well. Yeah. Of course, with all the challenges that you have, you don't see the full body and all of this. If you really want to do that, then you have to figure that out, how that works for you. I have heard of somebody, and I didn't manage to book it because the times are just so crazy. I think she's in Brussels or so. She's using avatars. You know, like Second World, where you have a character, like in a computer game, and somehow the participants are in a program where they choose a character, and then on the screen you see these characters moving around. I don't know how it works. I have no idea. I couldn't book it. But when I'm in Europe, one day I will be in Europe again for a visit, then I will book it. I want to see how that works. You know, like all these computer games when they have avatars. And that would be then the representatives. So, who knows? So, everything is possible, and it is a fun thing that we're all on the journey, and there's always something new to discover. So, that's something new, and I would love to see that, how that works. So remember, your work is built on trust. Make sure you're not losing it, meaning stick to privacy rules, yeah? So one part of an online workshop privacy rules is that you tell everybody at the start they can change the name on the screen. They don't need to have their own name. They can have any name, fantasy name they wish to, yeah, if that helps them. And then, of course, that you ask for permission to record if you record, and that you definitely never use the recordings for anything else that you have promised to do. No? Okay, now this is that. Is there any questions to that? Otherwise, we move on. Yes, Kerstin?
So how do you hold it in an in-person workshop about when some people know each other, sometimes they don't know each other at all, when they discover stuff that has been going on in a family constellation, not to talk about it outside to anyone else? Do you make that a rule? Like, do you have a rule about that it's not being talked?
Why does it different when they know each other to when they not know each other? How is it different?
No, there's not really unctuous meaning. Doesn't really matter. There's no, for me it's no different. But in one workshop, I just realized that someone said to me afterwards, she wouldn't constellate because there were people there that she knows or they know her. So
yeah, that's a personal decision, of course, Joe. I mean, some people have this idea of, and that's of course an ego thing. They normally have a big ego, that they are special. They have special problems. Yeah. And they are so special, the problems, that they cannot share that with others because it's far too intimidating or far too secrecy. Or you sometimes get that. That's fine. They don't need to consolate. If they want to come to the workshop, that's fine.
No, but how? But say, for example, then do you say to the in-person workshops, do you say everything that is talked about here or being constellated stays here? It's not being gossiped about outside. That's what I mean.
Ah, yeah, of course you can say that. I think that is such a that is a given. That's such a given. I was never compelled to say that in all these years. But yeah, you definitely can say that.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. It wouldn't hurt to do that. I just think that everybody, I mean, like, I would think that very rude to do that anyhow, in any circumstances. But yes, if you're unsure about your participants, definitely say that. All right. So one-on-one sessions are the best ways to start using family constellations in a professional way. After you have gained experience through your friendship circles, then it is a really good time to start with that, because you don't need to worry about lots of things we talked about today. You don't need to worry about leading a group. You don't need to worry about leading representatives. You don't need to worry about keeping the energy high for half a day or for a full day. You don't need to worry about time at all. You don't need to worry about the setting, because it will all happening in your room where you are comfortable and where you are, where you feel strong anyhow. So, and the best part is you can integrate it in whatever you do at the moment. So if you are already having a healing or a consulting practice in any way, shape, or form, you just integrate it. You can make it an opening. You can have some figurines and make it an opening to a session or a closing to a session or the middle of a session. It doesn't need to be all about family constellation. It can be integrated in whatever you do. And also, you can do it with a friend. Right, with a friend that is wants your very best, it's very open to what you do, is maybe curious to what you do. This is how you can demonstrate how it's done, and you learn from it. Your friend learns from it, or your family member learns from it, and it's actually it's fun if you don't have the stress of the group setting around you. This is why I think it's a great way. However, got some ups and got some downs. The other thing is the group sometimes helps, the representative help, because they give you hints. Obviously, in a one-on-one session, you don't get that. Yeah. So you have not to guess, but you have to find other ways to extract the information from the field, from whatever object you use as representatives, right? And this takes some experience. And this is why it's good to start with friends and play around with it a little bit and get used to it. But I will definitely explain all of this in our module 5. It's all about one-on-one sessions, so we don't need to go into details today. We have another exercise, but now Janet has left. Now let's see how we do that. We may just make one group. So this exercise is about leading a workshop. And I would like you not to create a workshop now. That's, of course, we're not doing that. But what I would like you is to go in a group and you discuss what is your greatest fear and what is your greatest job when you think about leading your first family constellation workshop. So you are prepared and you can share that with your fellow trainees and talk about it. However, I don't want you to comment on it. First, I would like you to practice active listening. Yeah? So the one who's talking gets no comments from the other two. Yeah? You are completely free to talk whatever comes there in this sacred space that you spend together. And when you are done with whatever you want to share, then I would all of you to keep silence for a moment, like half a minute or a minute. Just sit in silence and let that all sink in and resonate with it, yeah? And then the next one is sharing. So nobody's commenting on it. And then we come together as a group again, and then we can comment and share on it if we want to, yeah? But this exercise is for you to feel safe, to open up and assess and talk about the fear you have of your first workshop as a facilitator, and also what you're looking forward to the most. Like, what is the greatest joy you can think of that you get out of it? Yeah? Okay, very good. So we work in a group of 3, and then also when you talk about it, then I would like you also to think when you think about what is your greatest fear, for example, then I would also like you to think about and express if this fear is based in reality. So for example, if you had that once, you know, so if you've been put on the spot or something, and then this whatever you fear has happened, yeah, so that you assess if the fear you have discovered that would be that you might have when you are doing your first workshop, is this actually based on an experience you have or solely mind-made? Yeah, that's important that you understand that and that you express it. Yeah, without comments of the others. And then the same with the joy. What makes you feel joyful in this when you think about this workshop? What in more detail? What would it be? What outcome of the workshop is that you can think of that makes you feeling joyful? Yeah. Okay. Duration is 10 minutes, right? It's just a sharing. Well, we say 15 minutes because we are 3. So we say 15 minutes, and everybody has 5 minutes. And if you don't use the time, you just come back. Yeah. So if you think you are ready before that, that's fine. You just come back. Okay, but it will be later. So after 5 minutes, I say swap. But if we have swap before, that's fine. But don't forget the minutes in silent. Yeah, that you really let that sink in. So the ones who are listening are really listening without judging or without connecting that to your own life and thinking, oh, I had the try not to do that. I'm saying try. Do not do that, and just be active listening. Let just be with your presence. The one who's sharing is safe in your presence to be able to share that without being in any way, shape, or form judged about what they're saying. Yeah. Okay. Super. Right. Let's go. You're back. Very good.
Yeah, we are not lost.
We know, lost in space. Sometimes it's actually spooky with these rooms and stuff. Okay, so anybody wants to share? I mean, you don't have to. You can just leave it like that. But if you want to share, this is now the time. Or if you have a question.
Well, I thought it was lovely. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to find. I was also trying to. Right, sorry, I had technical issues for a moment there. I thought it was lovely, and I was the last to speak, and I really enjoyed the silence, and I felt a lot of love, and it was quite a beautiful place to be.
Wonderful.
And so one of the things that we sort of have also decided is that maybe we do a catch up and do a friends and friendship circle with us, so that we can look at what we would like to learn and how we'd like to learn, and support each other, so we can not have those fears, we can overcome them.
That sounds lovely. Yeah. Fantastic.
Since we all feel comfortable in each other's energy, I think, yeah, I think that's a great start.
Fantastic. That's the best.
Because I think the fear, we all have certain things in common when it comes to fear.
Was it a common fear? Like, what is all the same? Yeah.
For me, it is the lack of competency, because I found that this knowledge is a bit abstract. I may not be able to handle a situation in the workshop. You know, I don't have enough experience. That's my greatest fear. So it just requires a lot of practice. It's not just about theory.
Exactly.
So for me, the knowledge now is scattered around. I just need to put in practice what I've learned so far.
And that is why we have the practice workshops. I think next weekend, do we?
I think so too.
I think it's next weekend. So that's the most important.